as we go live today. Welcoming everybody who's watching this on the replay. We're going to wait for some people to hop on before we get going here as usual. I was about to say, so when you get here, let me know in the chat, but there's nobody watching yet. So technically I would only be talking to the people watching the replay, but I'm looking forward to doing this reading for everyone today. Also checking in with everybody who is going to be joining us live to see how they're doing, how they're feeling these energies. We are on a brand new timeline. We talked about that during the last live stream. We actually did the last live stream right after I felt that crazy timeline shift during the video that I was recording for, I can't remember what video it was, the 1111 portal, I think. And so we're here now, and we're going to explore what this means, what we might expect as we're moving along this new trajectory, any guidance spirit has for us regarding this new timeline, and also how we assist our bodies, all of our bodies, right? Our energetic bodies, our emotional bodies, our physical bodies in acclimating to this new timeline. So interested to see what the cards will have to say as we're moving through this reading today. We've talked about how 2024 is a quantum leap through timelines and a quantum leap on our ascension journey. So we've been in this quantum leap energy throughout 2024, and we're really seeing it speeding up and coalescing. And as we move from 1111 through the 1212, 1221 gateway, this is a massive energy. Every year is particularly the 1212 to 1221. And we saw how powerful the 1111 has been so far. So I cannot imagine what it's going to be like as we move into December here. It's going to continue to speed up, I think, these energies. And anyone who is hopping on, let me know in the chat how you've been experiencing this. It's been a really interesting energy where it's almost like time is speeding up and slowing down at the same time. Right? It's like the days are flying by, but in the same sense, sometimes I don't know how to quite articulate what I'm trying to say. Somebody let me know if you've been feeling this too. Just time's been flowing in different ways. It's been doing really strange things. It's like sometimes it's creeping by and sometimes it's flying by. And a week feels like a day sometimes. And I think we're going to continue to see this as we are essentially moving into a more timeless state of being. Hello, Extron. Hello, Making a Difference. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you on here today. Is this your first live stream with this channel? I don't recognize the names. The last time we did a live, there were so many people, and there was just a lot of weird energy going on. So I wasn't able to really connect with everyone because it was too distracting, some of the things that people were saying in the chat. So I'm looking forward to being able to connect more with people. I know Annika's going to be hopping on here shortly. Time dilation. Yeah, it's interesting that you say time dilation as well. Oh, there you are, Madam Chakra. Hello, about the 5D. But we're essentially sort of in this in-between point where we have the 3D world, the 5D Earth world connected in the middle, kind of like a Venn diagram or a Vesica Pisces with the fourth dimension in the middle. But as we move through, like we were talking about the 12, 12, 12, 12, 21 gateway particularly, it's literally like Mother Earth is dilating, and the dilations are separating the worlds more and more. And it's sort of like the opening that births out that 6D reality that we're ultimately ascending into. Because with the fall of Atlantis, at that time in history, we were actually getting ready to ascend into the 6D, and then we fell to the 3D instead. So what we were meant to be doing, we're moving back to that original birthing of that 6D reality, which is really, really exciting. Hello, Carl Lewis. 6D, so this is a six-dimensional, it's essentially a frequency or a dimension. And someone says, what was the fall of Atlantis? And so Atlantis was a society a very long time ago. It was a highly advanced society. This was a society when many believe that some of these ascended masters and archangels and benevolent beings were incarnated. It was one of the original civilizations, along with Lemuria, which was actually connected with Atlantis. And before that, we had moved. And so during Atlantis, That was when the infiltration of this originally crystalline organic matrix really began in earnest, and when many of the high priests and priestesses of Atlantis allowed themselves to be corrupted in this desire for power and knowledge beyond what they had, and partnered with some very dark entities who were able to kind of hijack this dimension. And I have a whole video on this, going more deeply into those things. You can check that out. It's in the live stream playlist. It's called What is the Inverted Matrix and How Do We Ascend Out? So I highly recommend anybody check out that video who wants to understand more about that. But we're essentially kind of in a replay of Atlantis right now, and we're getting to make a different choice. We're getting to make a different decision. So it's a really fun time. And any of my regulars who are on here who are interested, while we're waiting for Annika to join, if you're interested in being a mod for this discussion today, let me know. I believe I've figured out how to do that. And that way we can just weed out any comments that are not aligned with the conversation that we're having right now, and just kind of keep the chat clean, so to speak. As these videos are getting out to more people, we're getting more of that interference and probably some bots and stuff as well. So just anyone who's interested in that, let me know, because that really does allow for things to move a lot more swimmingly here. So we're discussing the timeline shift that just happened. And so essentially what was happening right now is that we are ascending into a new dimension of consciousness, of awareness, and essentially of being. And during that process, timelines are like different versions of reality, different dimensions of reality. You could see them as like roads maybe that take us along different trajectories of evolution and development and experience. And we just shifted onto a very high timeline, meaning a timeline that's going to get us, moving us toward that ascension point, where it is that we collectively shift into this new dimension of being, frequency, and consciousness that much more quickly and that much more smoothly. And it's a really, really exciting time. Is everyone ascending? Essentially, I believe yes. I believe yes, that we are. It's of course an individual choice where it is, like what level we are going to be experiencing that at, and what dimension of consciousness we need to learn from. There are many who do believe that people who choose and who still require sort of the experience, a similar experience that we're having in the 3D, may go to another 3-dimensional type reality to continue growing there. Essentially, we're not really sure. Anybody who pretends to know everything about this, you want to question a little bit. Because I do think there's a lot that I think there's a lot of people who like to pretend that they have all the answers, and none of us really do. All right. But essentially, we all have this opportunity to rise in frequency and consciousness to the level that we choose. We get to decide. This is about us taking our sovereignty, our individual power back as creators, and deciding what it is that we want to align ourselves with. So we can keep it just as simple as that. Do I want to align with love, or do I want to align with fear? Do I want to align with growth and evolution and healing, or do I want to stay sort of immersed in these lower frequencies? And that's a free will choice that we all get to make here. And essentially that's what we're doing right now. So just to give a little bit of background for people who are new on here, who are coming on, essentially this original blueprint for this planet and this evolution of growth and soul evolution that we originally created this planet for was hijacked at some point by these inorganic beings who had a very different agenda. And those are the beings who've been controlling this reality through the control of our minds and our energy for a very long time. So we are breaking free from that at the same time. So essentially, this particular reality that people are incarnated into, that we are ascending out of, I do believe that everybody is going to be ascending out of this into something different. What that different is going to look different for different people, and like I don't pretend to know exactly. Sorry to interrupt you. I have to say something. Go ahead and say what you need to say. Yeah, I want to go back and just read any of these comments here. Yeah, let's see. I think I'm in an... Oh, that's interesting. We just got disconnected a couple times here. Let's see. All right. So for everybody, all right, we only got a couple people left on here. I'll wait for people to hop back on and then we'll start pulling some cards. Like I said, for anybody who is still watching, who is new to this channel, if you want to understand more, go through the various playlists that I have. Clear. There are some videos explaining some of the stuff so that you can understand. I don't know if I have a video specifically yet on what timelines are, but it's just different trajectories and different roads, if you will, that lead us to different destinations through certain routes, I guess is the best way that I can put that. Clear. So we're going to check into what can we expect as we're moving along this timeline. Hello, I love Virgo energy. Welcome. You are a Virgo. I love to see Virgos on here. We have a strong Virgo contingent on this channel. I'm not doing sign-specific readings today. Oh, there's Annika. Oh, Annika, your name is in blue. Does that mean that I was successful in adding you as a mod? Because I didn't think that it worked when I tried, but it looks like you are. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. There's like a little wrench or something. So I think that hopefully that means, let me know. Yes. All right. Perfect. Beautiful. So Annika is going to be manning the chat, ensuring that we have this beautiful sacred container to work within here. Thank you so much, beautiful. We're checking into this new timeline, this new road, if you will, to ascension that at least part of the collective is on. And it's going to be the part that chose, just like we were kind of talking about. We all have free will. We all get to choose the route that we're going and what that's going to look like for us. And there really is no wrong choice. It's whatever our specific soul needs in order to grow and in order to evolve and learn the lessons that we need to learn. Some people really still need to learn and grow through experiencing that lower timeline, which is still available to anybody who chooses it. And so it's all about what frequency you're at, what vibration you're at. I'm pulling this for the part of my collective that has shifted into this higher timeline along with us. So we have the loving woman coming out as the first card here. And I'm really feeling this as self-love. Like developing a deeper relationship with our own self and loving ourselves more fully and completely. So you notice she has, it looks like a little wolf lying at her side here. And there's fruits and flowers. But there's this beautiful energy, like when you think of a dog, what do you think of? You think of that unconditional love, or at least that's what I think of when I think of a dog. That's why people love dogs so much, because they are so unconditionally loving. For some people, like not even everyone grew up with that with their parents, right? So some people, the only experience of unconditional love that they have is through a pet, particularly the dog. So I'm feeling that as that unconditional love for the self and this deeper level of self-acceptance that people are finding who are aligned with this higher timeline. I love cats. I do. Cats are much more independent, and that's what I personally enjoy about them, is that sense of independence. It is that energy where like they set the rules, right? They set the boundaries. Like cats are just as intelligent what you're asking them to do. They're going to do it if they feel like it. So that's what I appreciate about cats. I think that there's different personality types that go for dogs or cats. But I mean, I love all animals. They're all beautiful, but dogs are that deep sense of unconditional love. And so that's what I'm feeling. It's like becoming your own best friend. You know how they call dog like man's best friend? So there's this beautiful ability to begin to have more of that on here. We call it radical self-love, radical self-acceptance. It's that kind of an energy, and drawing more love into our reality, more support into our reality. This feels like a timeline where light workers are going to be able to connect more, where we're going to feel closer to each other. A lot of us, we've been positioned around the globe in these specific points where our light was needed. And for a lot of light workers, this has felt very lonely. And so I feel like there's a shift in that energy of loneliness where we all had to go through this process, this this initiation in that place of being alone, learning how to be in our own energy, learning how to stand in our own power. When we're alone, we're forced to confront the self, right? We're forced to really feel what's going on within us. We don't have as much of that outer distraction. Of course, we know in this society, it's designed to give us a million ways to distract ourselves. But we have that, we get to know ourselves more deeply, and we end up needing to turn to spirit, to turn to that internal connection. That's what the Hermit card represents in the tarot. It's that inward journey. And so that was a really big part of our initiation. But now I feel like we're going to have more support. We're going to have more connection with others. And we're going to just be bringing more and calling more of that love into our lives. Yeah. Of course you do. Of course you do, Madam Chakra. That's tough. That's tough, absolutely. And that's what I'm feeling is more of this, this external support coming through, or at least feeling more connected, even if it's, you know, through online people and things such as that. Like that sense of connection, that not feeling so alone anymore. And I'm not doing personal card pulls during this particular live stream, I don't think. If I do have time to open it up for that, I will. But I wanted to just get some collective energy for this new timeline that we're shifting onto first. I want to see if there was, I wanted to look, there was a comment that caught my eye. If I can find it again. All right, maybe it wasn't one that was meant to see. I see the sevenfold 777 though. That 7 number has been coming through. And Abu, welcome to the tribe, by the way. That 7 energy has been coming through. When we get to the reading that I just did, I pulled some full moon messages. That's going to be coming out tomorrow on the full moon. It was that 7-7 energy was coming through really strongly. So we have the fragmented energy on the bottom of the deck here. So it also feels like this energy of like where our energy has been fragmented, sort of like a coming back together, sort of like pulling that back in. So it's like becoming more whole within ourselves, and also really learning where it is that we spend our energy, for lack of a better word, and how it is that we can be more responsible, I guess you could say, with how we use our energy, with who has access to our energy. And something that I'm being called to share with people right now is this exercise that can be really helpful to do before you go to bed at night. You set the intention to call back to you all the energy that's been leaked out throughout the day. Because we do this unconsciously and consciously. We give energy to people every time we think about them, every time we have a conversation. You know, like I'm giving energy right now and I'll need to reclaim some of my energy after this live stream, for instance. It's like we're always giving out our energy whenever we're putting our attention on something. And so it's that act of reclaiming it. And you want to set the intention as you're doing it that it's cleansed and cleared before it's returned to you. And imagine it almost like a reverse starburst that's pulling all that energy back into your being, sort of reclaiming all of that. Yeah, this is a Merkaba. Absolutely good eye there. So this would be our part of our spiritual protection, a great thing to put around your energetic body to really reinforce in the morning, at night, definitely before meditation or astral travel. The white in the middle, that's representative of our soul light, our soul energy. And yeah, it's a really powerful tool to utilize. Your chats are stuck. Okay. All right. So yeah, this defragmenting of our energy, so to speak, this reclaiming aspects, pieces of ourselves. This is also, we do this through inner child healing. We do this through soul retrieval. There's so many ways that we do this. So it's not just, part of it is noticing where our energies lead and what we give our energy to, is that we place our focus. That's a big part. It's also just continuing to reclaim these different aspects of our being. So it's like a deeper level of wholeness. And part of why this happens is through this process of self-love, of learning to love ourselves more deeply, wholly, and completely. And I think this is a reminder, this is guidance as we're moving along this timeline too, for everybody to pay attention to this. Where is it that you are allowing your energy to be, or your focus to be fragmented? Where is it that you can call that back to you? Where is it that you can perhaps really look at how it is that you are, for lack of a better term, spending your energy, and how it can be better or best spent? Yeah. And anybody else too, like Dee, if you're in the chat and you want to start getting rid of some of these comments too, go ahead and do so. Just taking a moment to let people know that we do not consent to any of this infringement. We do not consent to haters, to trolls, to people bringing the energy down. That is not allowed. We are all sovereign beings, and everybody who is truly here for the connection and for the messages that want to come through, I feels that way. So anybody who is here for a nefarious purpose, you are not welcome, and you can go ahead and find somewhere else to spread your nastiness and your hate and your discontent. I'm sorry that you are in that space. If you are even real, I think some of these are just bots. It was really interesting. Someone had mentioned to me, they observed that when I did the video about Trump, all of a sudden we started having tons of trolls in our chat. So part of me does wonder if a lot of these people are bots, if they're not even really real. It's really fascinating, and it's a real, it can be a challenge, but like we said last time, it's all about, this is something that we're all going to need to be learning as we move along this timeline, because there's a lot of people who are still stuck in the lower timelines. We have a lot of people who are choosing fear, who are choosing hate, whether they realize it or not. A lot of people that are just confused. And there's always going to be energy trying to draw us off course, trying to distract us, trying to pull us back into a lower energy. So we have to be able to rise above that. You know, we have to be able to acknowledge that, but not play into it. All right. So this is sort of like an initiation for me, in a sense, where this is concerned, where I'm doing my best to model for all the people who are genuinely on here for their growth and their evolution, of how you do that. Right. So I'm doing my best, you guys. I love you. We are going to start doing, just for 11/11, we're going to have like these private Zoom calls where all of us who are like in the same vibration and frequency can connect together without any sort of outside energies, and have a more sacred container where we can communicate with each other. So let me know if you guys are interested in that. I wanted to start doing that, and I'll do personal readings for people and card pulls and different things on that as well. Hello, Chris Robinson. Welcome. All right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, and that's what we mean when we talk about how this, that's what we talked when we were talking about it being like a lonely journey. When we begin to awaken spiritually, a lot of people around us do think that we are crazy, right? Because we are seeing a whole different element of consciousness that most people can't, like, we've been trained not to be able to grasp. Everything about this reality, since it was hijacked and inverted, has been about suppressing that. It's been about making us forget. It's been about essentially convincing us that this is all there is, right? Trapping us in the lower mind. And so it's when we start expanding our consciousness beyond that, like, it does look crazy to a lot of people who were trained to believe that anything that the linear lower mind, for lack of a better term, cannot process is not real. And so that's part of the initiation, is being able to stand in that and be like, I know I'm not crazy, right? I know what I know, even if I can't explain to you how I know what I know. And I'm going to stay aligned with that. I'm going to stay true to that. I'm going to stay true to myself. And I'm going to continue to explore this. And eventually, like we said, a lot of light workers are stationed, for lack of a better word, in different places around the globe. Because we are, even when before we're awakened, before we've realized that there's more to this reality than what we once thought, we're still holding a higher frequency of light. And that light is needed in these different places. And as we begin to awaken, that light becomes stronger. And it is quite literally like a grid of energy that's created all around this planet. But when we are as physically alone, right, in the sense of what we can see, what we can touch, it does feel very isolating. And that's why I was really happy to receive this message of more support coming through, more connections for us. And I didn't even notice a creative endeavor that popped out. So I think people's creativity, because we're connected to this higher wave of consciousness, is really going to explode during this, on this new timeline. And I think part of what it is because we're becoming less self-conscious, right? We're starting to love ourselves more. And so we're releasing that fear of judgment. We're releasing that fear of, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? Are people going to accept me if I put it out there, whatever it is that I'm creating, whether it's through a medium like this, whether it's your physical art, whether it's something that you're writing, like however it is that you're putting those creative talents out in the world, that fear of judgment is going to get less and less. And it's totally possible. Anybody who's watching this who's thinking like, I don't know about that. I mean, it can be intimidating, particularly on a medium such as this, right? Because when you put yourself out there, as some of you have seen in the chat, people think that they have the right to say whatever they want to you, right? They think that they have the right to judge you, to pass judgment upon you, just because you're putting yourself out there. So because of stuff like that, people have been afraid. But like that fear is going to lessen, because it's like, what do I really care what people that don't even know me have to say about me, right? That people who aren't even on that frequency, why do I care? And that's where a lot of people are going to get to, like, why do I care about the people who are going to judge me negatively? Because the thing of it is, people are going to judge you regardless. No matter what you do, there is somebody out there who is going to judge you. All right? So would you rather be judged for not following your heart, or would you rather be judged for following your heart? If you're going to be judged either way. And I think that's a realization that a lot of people are going to come to. And it's going to be like, the only time that energy really affects us is when there's something within us that resonates with that. You know, like you can look on here for an example, all these people calling me a witch, you know, saying that I'm evil, all of this stuff. This is one of the most common things if you read tarot or oracle cards, or you do any of this stuff, right? There's a lot of people, that's old programming. And that programming is very specific to prevent people from tapping into their intuition, right? It would really hurt me. But I know that's not true. I know who I am. I know what my intentions are, right? I know what I'm aligned with. I know who I answer to. And so it rolls right off my shoulders. Yes, it's annoying, right? But exactly, they were trained to say that. But I don't feel that within me. That's not my truth. And so that is one thing that can be interesting for people, is if somebody says something cruel to you, if it cuts you deeply, then that gives an opportunity to be like, okay, so there's a truth within me. There's some belief within me, some wound within me that is triggering. So what's that about? And that gives us an opportunity to go deeper and do more of our own healing. So see, everything can be a gift. You know what I mean? If you utilize it properly. And that's properly, I guess, still has judgment. But if you utilize it in a constructive manner, And that's happened for me before. There have been certain things, if people have said certain things, I'm like, ooh, that kind of stings a little bit. Okay, so what is that attached to? You know what I mean? And it's a great learning tool. But this is sort of the evolution. It's like more of us are going to be in this energy of like, I'm going to do it anyway. People are going to judge me. I'm going to do it anyway. People are not going to understand. I'm going to do it anyway, because guess what? Just as there are going to be a lot of people who judge or who don't understand, there are also going to be people who do. There are also going to be people who resonate and people who really needed to hear what you had to say, who really needed to be inspired by what you are creating, who find true healing through whatever it is that you are offering. And those are the people that matter. Those are the people that we do it for. And we do it for ourselves. We do it for the joy and the bliss of our own creational process. So I see a lot of new creative endeavors. I see a lot of coming together within community, a lot of connecting. Remember, we're in the age of Aquarius. We're moving into that age. We are moving into Pluto is in Aquarius right now. And we're going to do a whole separate video on Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto, of course, exposes the secrets in the darkness as well. So we're going to see a lot of that coming up. But we're moving into this age of connection, of community, where we come together with these like-minded ideals, where we create together. I'm feeling somebody creating like a community of artists or artisans, or utilizing some type of artistic medium in order to communicate a larger message or reach a certain sector of people. So that's really beautiful too. So like Spirit's guidance for people is what blisses you out. It doesn't matter if you see, like we've been trained in this world, right? Like, is there a way to make money with it? There we go, back on. I'm gonna do it because I love it. I'm gonna do it because it brings me joy. And that is the first step. We don't have to understand. There doesn't have to be a practical application, because that brings us deeper into that frequency. That connects us to the frequency of that timeline. It's really all about the frequency. Dennis. Oh, gonna look for some of the positive comments here for a minute. Yep. Of course you are, Essenes. Yeah. And the 144. So I did a video on this, and I encourage people to check it out. Anyone who's been curious about the energy, the number, the 144,000, I did a video on this. So ultimately, the 144,000, this is actually a series of light body activations during the process of ascension. So anybody who chooses the path of ascension is part of that energy. So we had the victim mentality card come out. So this is a consciousness that we're going to see get more prevalent, I'm feeling, before it dissipates. And we're seeing this right now. And we're seeing, so the topic of this is the new timeline that we just shifted onto, and sort of the guidance as we're moving along this timeline here. We're going to see this getting more intense within some people, because this is another consciousness that was programmed into the collective to keep us out of our power. And this is an energy that is dwindling as we have a spiritual awakening, as we begin to understand that we are creator beings, that we are sparks of God consciousness, that we are able, and that our entire reality is simply a reflection of our own belief systems, of our own internal world. We start realizing that we have the power to change anything. And we start realizing that we can learn and grow from every situation. And then it can lead to us stepping into a greater sense of empowerment. And we begin to release this identity as a victim. But first, there are some people who are really attached to this consciousness. And that energy we're seeing right now intensifying within certain sectors of the collective. So this is going to be a process. And how do we work with this energy? By just working with where this exists within us and releasing this consciousness within us. As we continue to do this individually, it bolsters up the collective and begins to allow them to do this as well. So look at anywhere that you are giving your power away to an external force or energy and take that power back. Yeah. But you notice what's really interesting here? It's like this guy is chained in this little room, but look at the window behind him. There's like this beautiful waterfall. It's this beautiful idyllic scene, but he can't see it because he's got his head in his hands. And the water is pouring through the window, right? So the window is open. And I feel like that little string that's tied to that bed, he could quite easily. This is similar to like the 8 of Swords in the tarot, right? It's like he feels like he's trapped, but he's really not. The trap is of his own making. The house is getting flooded, right? So he's got to figure out pretty quick that he can't untie himself. So if he doesn't, he's going to drown, right? The only true entrapment is within our own mind. That's why this is a consciousness card. What consciousness are you operating in? Bobby, none of us ever really know, right? It's all about the resonance. What resonates for you, what feels true for you, what strikes a chord within you, that's where you recognize the truth. And that's what we're all being trained to do right now in this age where there's so much information, in this age of AI where people can create completely false videos, completely fake photos. We have to be able to learn how to tap into our inner discernment in order to know. Sometimes you feel it when you hear something that's true or something that resonates for you. You feel it like a little jump in your stomach. You might hear a ringing in your ears. Your body might tingle. There's some sort of sensation. There's something within your heart. There's something that resonates and connects. So you have to follow that feeling. Yeah, it is. I think it is tied to the bed, but very loosely. And he has plenty of capability of untying that. But I like that. I like that thought of like, is it really just lying on the floor? How do you lift your spirits? Focus on the positive. Focus on the little moments of joy. Do the things that make you feel good. Spend time around the people that make you feel good. And if you don't have any people in your life that you feel good around, then maybe spend some more time alone. Go out in nature if you're able to, right? Nature is a natural healer. I call it the ring of truth, and I actually hear it. I love that, Dee. Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I get the ringing in the ears. All of those things will help lift your spirits, lift your vibration. But if you're feeling hopeless too, if you're feeling that, like, just know that energy, allow that to move through you. Don't resist it. But don't stay stuck in it either. The full moon gives you a headache. Yeah, it can. It can. The full moon, this timeline shift that we just experienced, all the solar flares that are coming through right now, which are preparing us, like our light body, our energy is being prepared, and it has been being prepared. As we shift into higher states of consciousness, like our body takes on more light, and like our entire being is essentially being crystallized right now. It is being realigned. It is being recalibrated. And it's a lot, because we come from such great density. Releasing that density is a process, and headaches are a very common thing. especially with our crown chakra, our third eye. When there's a lot of energy congested here, I experience that a lot as well. And so it's really just being patient with your body, making sure that you're really hydrated, making sure that you're getting rest if you need to get rest, making sure that you are taking that time for yourself. You can literally just tap on your head a little bit too with the intention of kind of releasing that energy. I mean, it's not recommended by a lot of people to take like a leave and stuff like that, but I do sometimes because the headaches get pretty intense for me. So that's pretty normal, honestly. It's annoying, but it's a pretty normal part of this process. Yeah. I see auras sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and the auras around the sun, speaking of which, the auras around the sun have been incredible. We were talking on here about the rainbows. It was around the 8/8 portal, the Lion's Gate, which was August 8th. And through that time, the rainbows coming off the sun were just absolutely incredible. My Instagram's in the description box below. The Spiritual Alchemist 333. Been seeing more shadows? I'm not sure. Explain what you mean by that. I'm curious. We had the loving man come out too. So we had the loving man and the loving woman. So for some people, this is partnership. This is connection. This is romantic love coming in. I'm also feeling for some people watching this, it's like a healing of father issues or a healing within the divine masculine. But I'm really feeling that healing of father issues for somebody. Yeah, talk about the ringing. So whether this is wounds created through abandonment wounds, whether this is just the relation to the divine masculine as a result of the relationship to the father, because our relationship to our father really is the beginning energy of how we relate to and understand divine masculine energy. As our relationship to our mother is the beginning of how we're introduced to our relationship to divine feminine energy. So those create those templates. And if we don't have somebody who is more in their divine aspect and expression of that energy, that can really skew the way we relate. I'm sorry to hear that about your father. Yeah. So it could be healing around that. It could be healing from grief or loss of a father as well. And that's another type of abandonment wound. That's one that I can relate to as well. Yeah. So healing around that energy, which then allows for a healing in the relation with that energy. We incarnated within the biological makeup of one or the other, but we have both essences within us. So we relate to those internally, and then we relate to those externally. And so this is a big shift for somebody, and it definitely feels like a balancing too, where we had the loving woman and the loving man come out together in this reading. Well, separately, but within the same reading. So there's like a healing and balancing of this energy, which is really beautiful. For some whose father is still living, this could be a healing of that relationship. Yeah. Yeah, and different people's energy will present differently too when we're talking about auras. It could be their predominant energy, because we all have sort of predominant energies or chakras. And so some people, their aura is generally a different color. Sometimes depending on what they're experiencing, their mood, the colors can shift within their auras as well. So it's an interesting thing, reading auras and seeing sort of the energetic colors. And they can relate to the chakra colors too. So a lot of yellow is a lot of solar plexus people, a lot of people that are functioning out of their solar plexus. You don't absorb other people's energies when you view their auras. You absorb other people's energies when you relate to them, when you connect with them emotionally, when you take on their emotional energy. That's the biggest way that people absorb people's energies, when you don't have strong energetic boundaries. And many people Many light workers, which is most of the people that are still on this chat, many light workers are empaths. And so when you're an empath, you're naturally absorbent. You naturally absorb the energies around you. You're very sensitive to them and you tend to take them on. And part of that, what's coming through right now, is when we're not solid in our own energy, when we don't really know who we are and our own energy isn't solid, when it's more malleable, that's when we're more likely to take that on as well. So that's why you want to shield yourself. You want to understand, like, yes, we are, all that is organic within the universe is one. However, we don't necessarily want to be melding and be one with everybody in their 3D expressions of themselves. We don't want to take all of that on. And so, like, understanding that in a grander sense, there is oneness between all, like we said, all organic things, because there are organic things within this universe as well, and we are not one with them. But also, in this particular journey, we are allowed to have boundaries within this expression of our energy, this expression of the oneness, which is each and every one of us. So you want to imagine this like a glowing bubble of light surrounding your energy field. You want to imagine the Merkaba, the two pyramids with you in the center there, revolving around your body. And set that intention that you do not consent to infringement. And just really understand that, like, not my circus, not my monkeys kind of an energy in a sense. So it's like being able to empathize with people, but not overly identify. Because that's when we really start taking on energy. When we see somebody in pain and we think like, I want to lessen that pain for them. I want to take that away. Or we really, really resonate deeply with somebody. So anytime you're watching somebody too, you're exchanging energy with them, particularly if you are resonating with them. That's why you want to be careful about who you watch, who you listen to. You want to judge the frequency and the vibration. And if it feels off, if it doesn't feel right to you, you want to kind of, if you are not able to create that distance, lack of consent to infringement, if you're not confident in that, then just tune off. Because that's how a lot of people kind of pull people into their sort of energetic snags, is through getting them to resonate with them and then tapping into their energy field. So you want to have really good energetic boundaries. And a lot of people do this unintentionally as well. So an example that I'm being given is like on social media. Somebody who is on Facebook or on one of these platforms and they're posting about how horrible their life is, these terrible things that are happening to them, and they're looking for that sympathy. When you engage with somebody who's doing that, they are essentially stealing your energy. They may not recognize that's what's going on a spiritual energetic level, but that's what it is. They're feeding off of your energy. When you feel bad for them, when you pity them, when you try to bolster them up to make them feel better, when you give them that attention, you can give them love, you can send them love, tapping into that universal flow of love without sending them your own energy. But when you invest your energy in that, you're feeding that energy. So we want to be really careful who we're feeding. But just noticing someone's aura isn't necessarily, you're not necessarily taking on their energy just through that. Yep, pentagram representing the 5 elements, right? Oh, welcome, Mustafa, to the tribe, by the way. It says, everyone's truth is different and individual. That's great news. But how do we deal with other people whose truth is to hurt people who don't believe what they believe? So there are a lot of people like that, unfortunately, and we're going to see that energy escalating. And so we just have to have love and compassion for that, but we need to not allow for that. We need to not play into that energy, not engage with that energy. And just be the love that you want to see in the world. Be the love, but have great boundaries. Bulletproof boundaries, we could say. And just understand that there's 2 things here, right? Hurt people. We've all heard that. We understand that. That's the cycle of abuse, right? And also people who have very strong beliefs. Like a lot of these beliefs are programmed as well, right? And the programming is everybody else must believe what we believe. And so people think they're doing you a favor by forcing their belief system on you. Like, it's really twisted in their own heads. So like, we just have to like send them love. Don't send them our energy, just send them love. Intend for that universal, unlimited flow of love to flow toward them if they're willing to accept it, and just go on your way. Yeah. Know that they're going through their own process. They're having their own experience. And we're not responsible for enlightening them, just as, because if we think that we need to change them, that we need to make them see that what they're doing is wrong, then we're essentially in the same energy that they are. Right? And we don't want to be that either. That's when we get sucked into that vibration, that consciousness. And we end up doing the exact same thing that we are frustrated with them for doing or attempting to do to us. So it's like, allow them their journey, allow them their space. Everybody has a right to their own experience, their own path of evolution and awakening. And we just leave them to it. And we go on with our lives. We go on with being that love and spreading that love that we want to see in the world. Oh, thank you, Tony, for letting everyone know that. Yeah, joy is fun. So Spirit's saying, like, if we allow it, there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of exploration and creativity and community and connection on this new timeline. And how do we align with that timeline? We align with that energy. We do things that lift us up, that lift our spirits. We stay true to ourselves. Yeah. It's going to be, this is the thing. For people who are aligned with this higher timeline, like, we can have amazing years ahead of us. People can also have some of the most difficult and challenging years of their lives, if that's what they choose. So we want to be really deliberate about what we are choosing. Who we're choosing to allow within our energy, within our reality, where we're focusing our attention, what we're being attached to. Ensure that we're not giving our power away to anyone or anything. Choose the path of our highest excitement. Just keep choosing that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sending love to anyone, Christine. You're absolutely right. Praying for them is sending love. Right? Praying for them is sending love. What about democracy? We're about to see what true democracy looks like in certain sectors of the world. People think they've seen that and experienced that, but they really haven't. We've been in sort of an inverted, false representation of that in certain countries. So, buckle up. But it's all going to be, it's all relative to our perspective, right? So where are you looking? What are you looking for? Because whatever you're looking for, you're going to find it. That's like a simplest breakdown of some of the laws of the universe. Whatever you're looking for, you will find. I love all people, all organic beings upon this planet, upon this universe, within the multiverse. Like, we think that there are many races when we just look at humanity. The number of extraterrestrial races that assist within the multiverse is like would blow people's minds. Clear. And they're all beautiful. We're all beautiful. Our diversity is our beauty. Oh, that's beautiful. Your mother sounds like a very beautiful and wise soul. Thank you. Clear. Thank you. I'm about to go get them fixed actually today. It's time for a new look. But I was feeling very, very glittery, very shiny. Yeah. Yeah. And the separation will end. First, there's going to be more division. And that's why we just have to love people through and love people where they're at and respect their right to have their own individual journey. Because right now we are, like we said, we're aligned with this magnificent timeline. But some people simply cannot see that. And they're choosing more pain, more suffering, more strife, more drama. And that is just what they need. That's what they need to experience for their own growth. And a lot of that is programming. So much programming. We're seeing the larger collective breaking out of this programming, breaking out of this mind control, this mass hypnosis. But there's still a lot of the population that is within this hypnosis still. And I talked about in the full moon and Taurus video how essentially what is being mourned right now is the fall of the false matrix. It's the fall of the inverted false reality. What I used to call the upside down world before I heard the term inverted matrix, right? Where everything is the opposite of what it appears. This energy of entrapment, this energy of indoctrination, it's all people have ever known. And so people are mourning the loss of that because we are experiencing the fall of that. The false matrix lost its power. I can't remember how many years ago now. But we shifted out of that energy, but it's taken the collective a little while to catch up, and we're still catching up. But it is happening. We can see that with all the major shifts and changes that are happening all over the world. It's true here. The changes in government power structures, all of it. It's all shifting. But it's happening in stages and it's happening in layers. Yeah, this is the most fascinating school. We're seeing the downfall of globalism right now. Globalism is a symptom of these dark entities or beings that hijacked this reality, that are now they're losing control. We're going to see unification instead of globalization. There's a difference. Aw, you asked so nicely. I wasn't planning on doing personal readings for this live stream, but I will. I'll pull a card for you because you're very sweet. However, do you have a name, boy with no name? Clear. What about liberalization? We're not going to go there. Clear. Yeah, I mean, November, things can get better right now if we choose it. It's all in what we're choosing. All right. Clear. Let's get a card for Luke. Let's get a card for Luke. Get the Chariot and the Page of Cups for you, Luke. Trying to feel into what this feels like for you. It feels like learning something that's going to help you to move forward. This could be emotionally, if you've been kind of stuck emotionally. Either whether this is like stuck on someone, not being able to let go of a situation, a wound, a sadness, something that's been like you haven't been able to move forward because you've been emotionally just in emotional pain or some type of emotional turmoil. You're going to learn something that's going to assist you with moving forward. Okay. So maybe it's something to do with helping you move forward from the pain of that. And this doesn't necessarily mean somebody externally is going to tell you something. It could mean that. Or it could just mean like you understanding something more deeply or having a realization about something that allows you to shift past that energy. It could even just be like that I don't have to stay stuck in my sadness. Oh, and then we got the 10 of Cups. So this is like one of the happiest cards in the deck. Yeah, that's beautiful. So definitely family healing. And it's interesting too, whenever I get this card, I always think, notice there's a dog on here too. The dog has come up a couple times. I don't know if you have a pet or you're thinking about getting a pet. You do have a dog. Yeah, so your dog wants to help you heal. So let your dog, so animals are powerful transmuters of energy. They alchemize energies for us. They really help with our healing. Like if you ever noticed, if you do have a pet, that when you're sad or when you're in a lower energy, your pet naturally gravitates towards you. Like if you have a dog, they come and they lick your face or they want to lay next to you. They put their head on your knee and sort of sigh and look up at you. It's like they're there, they can feel your energy and they know that you need a boost and they're there to give you that boost. So he wants to help you with your healing and he wants you to know that you're going to be all right. And that the family that you're mourning, as far as your mother, father, that type of family, it's like you will be able to create a family that is healthy and happy. So it's like, if you ever had worries, like, you know, my family fell apart, maybe like my parents' marriage fell apart. Does this mean my marriage, if I find somebody, my marriage is going to fall apart too, or things aren't going to work out, or like anything like that? Like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You have so much love within you, within your heart. Sometimes we see where things failed with somebody else. It's a lesson that shows us the energy we don't want to repeat. So don't be afraid that you are going to repeat those same mistakes. Aw, Jack Russell. Yeah. Yeah. Clear. So let your dog help bring you that healing too. And you're gonna get that push you need to be able to move forward. Absolutely, Christine. Well, that's the thing is like when we're in a group container, it's like what comes up for one person, it's not just for that one person, it's for everybody. All right. Yeah, I'll do a card for you, Matthew, and then I am actually going to have to go because it is the end of my day. Clear. This wasn't going to be a long thing. Get a new hobby. That's what you should do, new moto. All right, Matthew, let's clear. Am I going to use the same deck or no? We're going to get a card from Matthew now to close us out. Clear. What does Matthew need to know? What energy do we have for Matthew? And let's give a shout out to Annika. Thank you for that donation, beautiful. And also thank you for holding it down in the chat. Annika's going to have to do some clearing after this too, probably. For allowing for us to have a beautiful container, for assisting with that beautiful container. It takes a village sometimes. All right, Matthew. You're welcome, Luke. Let's get a card for Matthew, please. All right. Got the 8 of Wands and the 4 of Cups. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Devil. So I feel like what this is, what the message is for you, Matthew, is if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling like just not thrilled or enthused with your life and what's going on, if you've been feeling stagnant, it's taking action that's going to move you forward. So just do something to change the momentum of the energy. There's maybe old habits kind of pulling at you. There may be like old negative belief systems, old ways of being, old, like we said, bad habits and things that you've been kind of falling back into or wanting to fall back into, or even like people that you know aren't good for you, that you've been thinking about reaching back out to if you've been feeling lonely. This is like just move forward. This is all about forward momentum and movement. Do something to shift your energy. This is also about recognizing the blessings that you do have. With the Four of Cups, a lot of times we're focused on one thing that we think that we want or need. And because we don't have that one thing, we don't notice all the things that we do have. So it's like, get in that attitude of gratitude. Notice the things that you do have. Notice the things that are going well. Notice the things that are going right. Don't focus on what you've lost or what you don't have. And don't fall into any old habits or behaviors. You wanna move forward. If we want something new, we have to do something new, right? Like, what is it that they used to say? I was in 12-step for a number of years. I am a recovering addict. And we used to say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So it's like, do something different, shake things up. Start noticing the things that are beautiful, the things that you have to be grateful about. And the opportunities that are right in front of you. And sometimes we create those opportunities just by putting ourselves out there more, just by communicating with people more, just by getting ourselves into different situations with like-minded people, perhaps. I feel like there is an energy that's coming in to shake things up for you, but you want to make sure you don't fall into all those old habits or routines. And you want to be open to recognizing the opportunities when they present themselves and being ready to create the opportunities as well. Yeah, got the Four of Wands and the Seven of Wands here. And this is, isn't this funny? We were talking about the energy bubble, creating the bubble of energy around ourselves. Also not worrying about what other people have to say about us. Not stressing over people or situations that are out of our control. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say for that. Yeah, it's almost like there feels like this energy of like feeling left out or something like that. I say not right or left straight down the middle. Not right or left straight down the middle. Clear. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, if you've been feeling left out in a situation, maybe, I was also kind of picking up on that energy. Like if you feel like you're not being included in things, or people aren't, it's like you're not getting the invite to the party or something like that. It's like, because that's not your party. And so I want to share this. I think this is going to resonate for a lot of people in this reading. Timelines. And we all do this many times, right? When I shifted timelines, a lot of the people that I was connected with, they just weren't on the same timeline as me anymore. They weren't in the same frequency. They weren't in the same energy. And so it was like when I would talk to them occasionally, they would tell me that they were thinking about me. They would be excited to talk to me, but they never reached out to me. And we never, they just were not in my life. And there was a point in time where I was just like, am I like, what, am I chopped liver over here? Like nobody wants to hang out with me. No one wants to be around me. Like, and it's like, I knew, but still there was that part of me that couldn't help feeling left out. Right. And it was just because we weren't in the same frequency. I wasn't meant to be around the things that were going on with them. We were on different timelines. We were in different trajectories. Yes, we are, Tammy. We're getting ready to close right now, but I'm so glad to see you, beautiful. And so that's why they weren't within my realm, within my sphere. And it wasn't that they didn't love me, that they didn't care about me. It's just that we weren't on the same wavelength anymore. So I feel like there's going to be people watching this who might be going through that, where people are falling out of your life. And it's okay. It's okay. They're making space for the people who are meant to be in your life, or making space for you to do other things. Right? Like I've had to sacrifice a lot of relationships and a lot of social time in my life to pursue the things, my passions. I have a family. I work. I'm pursuing my passion. I'm on here with you guys. Like those are the things that are important to me. And so we have to prioritize, and sometimes we have to let things go. It's like what is worth. That's that energy of when we talked in the beginning about fragmenting our energy or focusing our energy. Yeah. Yeah. And it can be lonely sometimes. It can be lonely, but that gives us an opportunity to get to know ourselves better and to get to know what makes me feel fulfilled within me. You're never lonely if you like the person you're alone with. And then another one was, if you're bored, you're boring, which is kind of cruel, but it's like I can find a million things to do, a million things to research, a million ways to spend my time if I'm by myself. But eventually it does. If we're by ourselves all the time, we are social creatures. We do need that connection. That's why we created this tribe, so people can connect with each other. There's a Facebook group too. It's linked in the description box below for anyone who wants to connect. Because a lot of times on this journey, it is isolating, and we do spend some time alone. So it's good to know that there are other people going through this experience too, going through their own awakening journey, going through these initiations that we can connect with. Thank you so much, Matthew and Luke, Linda, of course, Dee and Annika. We've got beautiful Tammy on here now, everybody who's on here. Yeah. You're also beautiful. Amber, there she is. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody who wants to be a moderator, comment on this live stream so that I can find you, so that I can add you. Any of the tribe members who want to. Like, the more we have, the merrier. Because this gets really funky on here sometimes. Like right now, like once we have people filtering through the chat, then we're able to like have a beautiful connection with each other. We're able to have a sacred space together where we don't have all these bots and all of this crazy stuff sort of like detracting from the energy. So yeah, anybody who's willing to be a moderator, let me know. Frosty Cupcake, I feel like this is the first time. I think this is the first live stream I've seen you on. I appreciate that. I appreciate that offer though. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So I will definitely, I'll look into that. Let me see here. There we go. There we go. Thank you, beautiful. You guys love. I'm just sending you love. So I hope that you feel that. And I look forward to seeing you all next time. All right. Madam Chakra, that's totally fine. If you would like to, I will absolutely add you as a mod too. That's totally fine. We don't need the warning. Like, people shouldn't need a warning. You know what I mean? Like, if you're writing disrespectful comments, like, there is no warning, right? We don't have time for that. I've seen some of the comments on here. You guys, like my cosmic rebels on here, like, we've been doing this for a minute. We know vibrationally who's on the level and who's trying to detract from the energy. So there you go. If you see somebody who's being inappropriate, just get rid of them. Just get rid of them, you know? And we love Yeshua on here, but we know it's any of the you know, you guys know, you know what to do. You know what to do. I trust you to do it. If people are being respectful on here, if people have genuine questions, right? Yeah, exactly. Ban the trolls and the spam. Right. If people have genuine questions or curiosities, that's one thing, and that's welcome. You know, but people who are just clearly here just to detract from the energy, like, we know who those people are. All of you guys all know as soon as you see a comment from them, who's here doing that and who's not. So just get rid of them. That's it. This is an exercise in sovereignty, right? We don't have to coddle people. If people want to be in that vibration, love you, D, then they can be in that vibration somewhere else, you know? That's it. So that's it. We've got infinite love for everybody, but we don't have to allow everybody into our space, and we don't have to engage with any of that energy. Reminds you of the AOL days in chat. AOL Instant Messenger, that takes me back. Oh, man. Yeah, I remember those days. I mean, your mods are welcome to introduce themselves if you'd like. Absolutely. Yeah, and I want to make sure Annika is... All right, I was going to shift you to managing moderator, Annika, but I'm not sure how to do that. So I'm going to do that after. I don't know if that means that you have control over who's a moderator as well. Annika's been with me for a very long time. Yeah. Yeah, see, we can already tell who needs to go right now. Yeah, 777, that's the number right now, you guys. That's the number. You'll see the video that comes out tomorrow. It was the 7s were coming through strong. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. All right, Annika. Thank you, beautiful. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you all soon. Much love to everybody.